How many of you are vaccine hesitant? That used to be known as survival instinct.
I'm not hesitant!
Does over my dead body sound like hesitancy to you? Now, I've not often surprised by the machinations and manifestations of corruption, but the speed and the outrageousness of what has happened in the last 2 weeks has come pretty close. Now, we understand that the party political system pre-selects for the most vain, the most self-centered, the most ego-driven, and the most corruptible in our society. We also understand, and this is with exceptions, there are always noble exceptions. We also understand that politics is show business for ugly people. And by that, I don't mean superficial, skin-deep aesthetics.
Horse face!
Now, what we have seen in the last 2 weeks from our paid employees, from our public servants who asked to be our public servants, is truly outrageous, because they have ceased to pretend. They have ceased to even put up a facade that they are serving our will, serving our best interests, or protecting our health and welfare. The facade has fallen, and that is why we have so many people out, and they are desperate. It seems that all around the world, by Christmas, the cabal has commanded their puppets to carry this through, or else. And that is why we're seeing this extreme speed. And if you are frightened for your freedoms and of your vaccines, they are 10 times more frightened, because they have placed themselves between a rock and a hard place. And when I hear them spout this outrageous, totalitarian, fascist rhetoric, only one term comes to mind. Who in hell, and I use that word purposely, who in hell do you think you are? What they are trying to do now is create an apartheid state. They are trying to separate and divide us. I heard an interviewer ask our global reset, great reset, World Economic Order prime-in-chief puppet, are you trying to don't you realize that you're trying to create a two-tiered society in which one tier will have privileges and rights and freedoms and the other won't? And she said, yes, that's exactly it. And laughed about it, as she often does. She's about it getting as inappropriate in the use of her body as Bill Gates. Now, if they plan to make us pariahs, they don't understand. They don't understand that this is not World War II. We are not the downtrodden. We cross all ethnic, religious, racial spectrum. We are not shamed. We are not downtrodden. We are aware. We are awake. We are arising. And if they think that we are going to be shamed when the shame is theirs, they have another thing coming. So what will happen? Whether you believe, whoever believes in the COVID narrative or believes in these shots, that's your right to believe that, and it's our right to believe otherwise. But what has to happen now is that we unite for a higher purpose and not argue over that. Because when the ugly face of tyranny is put in your face, We can unite around that. And it is becoming all too obvious that that is exactly what's happening. So if they want another Springbok, they will get Springbok too. In the Jersey Islands, off of Britain, in World War II, they were bombed and then invaded by the Nazis. Britain did not have the resources to protect or liberate the Jersey Islands, and the people were under the Nazis for a long period of time. The people resorted to whatever they could resort to resist. And they came up with this, a symbol by which they could connect and recognize each other. And this symbol was scrawled and written and placed everywhere in the islands. And it spooked the Nazis. I think we need a symbol as well, to show how many we are, to show that we recognize each other and identify with this L, in solidarity with the French and the Italians, libertà, liberté, liberty. Whether you're right-handed or whether you're left-handed, L for liberty everywhere, and let us spook those who are trying to spook us. Now, we are very fortunate in New Zealand that compared to Britain and America and France and Italy and Germany, our criminals are rank amateurs. They are making so many strategic mistakes, it's pathetic. And I actually think we have our own Marie Antoinette. And if by some miracle an honest reporter was ever allowed into their contrived press conferences and was allowed to ask a real question, he might say, "But Marie, businesses are destroyed. Jobs are destroyed. The people are homeless. They are starving. They cannot afford bread." And I think that she would gleefully say, "Let them eat pavlova with Marmite icing, or else get the clot shot," and then smile sweetly. And if in her pathetic, amoral education she had a smattering of history, she would know what would come next. Now, some of you may be familiar with the Viking clap. Like the haka, this is a motion that brings energy to people. And when done in unison, it brings great energy. And I have added 12 syllables to the Viking clap. This is often used after sporting events in Europe and lately after political gatherings as well. And for those of you not familiar, the motion simply goes like this. And the words that I'd like to add to that, or the syllables, are: fools don't rule our free lands. Power comes from these hands. Fools don't rule our free lands. Power comes from these hands. So I'd like to bring a few people up here to demonstrate and add to that.